My lawyer said to me right out, this is either really good or really bad. Juries don't make quick decisions unless it's unanimous.
We dropped everything, went back to the court, and I don't want to tell you, the excitement was palpable.
It was hard to say what was going to happen. We went into closing arguments uncertain, to tell you the truth. We were doing something that had never been done before.
Has the jury reached a verdict?
Yes, Your Honor.
When the verdict was announced, inside my heart was just beating so fast.
My lawyer informed all of us that we couldn't respond to the verdict. Don't show any emotions, don't be excited, don't be upset, whatever it is.
He believed that the rules that said he shouldn't be discriminated against should be honored, and he carried that sense of wrong with him, and he wanted to do something about it.
You may write me down in a history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me down in the very dirt, and still like the dust I'll rise. So you may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, and I'll rise, I'll rise, I'll rise, rise, rise. I'm gonna rise, I'll rise, I'll rise, rise, rise. I'll rise, I'll rise, I'll rise.
The first time I ever told anyone I was gay, it was my grandmother. I spent a lot of weekends at my grandmother's house, just her and I. We'd watch TV, we would hang out, we'd eat ice cream, that sort of thing. And when I was 7, my uncle was coming to visit quite a bit in the summer, and my uncle had went away, and he basically was the only person in my family that went away and made money, and he came back and he always had a Cadillac. As a kid, I absolutely loved his Cadillac, and it was kind of a strange obsession where I would go and play with the buttons. I would take naps in the back seat of the Cadillac. So my uncle had come to visit, him and his partner. My uncle was gay, and he had left, and I was hanging out with my grandmother in her bedroom, and we were watching TV, and I said, "Grandma, I want to tell you something." And she said, "Yes?" I said, "I'm a homosexual." I probably couldn't even pronounce the word, to be honest. And she just looked at me and smiled and said, "Honey, you don't have to be gay to have a Cadillac."
In the late 1980s, Jamie Nabuzny was in middle school, seemingly leading the life of a typical American teenager.
My childhood was pretty good overall. My family did have some problems, but I always knew that my parents loved me and cared about me, and I was taken care of.
The Nabuzny family lived in a small Wisconsin town on the banks of Lake Superior.
I describe Ashland as being as far as you can go in Wisconsin without falling into the lake. It is, in the summer, a wonderful, beautiful spot. And in the winter, it's 5 feet of snow and cold.
Jamie kept his sexual orientation a secret from his parents and friends until one day in the 7th grade.
Well, I think he just said, "Mom, I'm gay." I don't think I was that shocked.
And my mom was, she was crying, and she said, I already knew, and it doesn't matter, I love you.
I think I knew from the time Jamie was like 5 that he was gay. I think a mother knows that, So I just thought, okay, if this is what he says he's gay, then we need to deal with it, and, I just need to start learning some more about it.
My dad took a while to accept that I was gay, and I think one of the things that kind of happened is that eventually my harassment became the bigger issue in our lives, bigger than my sexuality, and as a parent, his job was to protect me and to make sure that I was safe.
All right, everybody settle down.
Jamie was not out to his friends, but many classmates at Ashland Middle School saw him as gay. That was enough for some campus bullies.
Hey, homo.
It started with words.
I just know that it hurt a lot to hear those words on a daily basis. People calling me queer, fag, homo, saying really disgusting things about sex or something like that.
Sorry, fag.
yes, I'm gay, but at the same time, I'm not this horrible person that they think I am.
Kids get harassed for all kinds of reasons. They're too fat. They're too thin. They're too tall. They are too smart. They're too dumb. Gays and lesbians are picked on.
The harassment soon turned physical.
When I was walking down the hallway, I'd have things thrown at me. I'd be kicked, punched, spit on, tripped.
Jamie complained to middle school principal Mary Podlesny.
In the beginning, the principal told me that she would take care of it, she would handle the problem.
I'm gonna try and take care of things.
But to my knowledge, she never did anything.
Whenever we complained, they said that they would deal with it, they would get to the bottom of it, and they would take care of the kids that were, calling him names or tripping him or doing whatever they were doing.
The constant bullying took an emotional toll.
A lot of times when I'd come home from school, especially after a really bad day, I would go to my room and I would shut the door and I wouldn't come out. And sometimes I would just cry because that was the only place that I could actually show my emotions. I never wanted to do that at school. Somehow, part of me always knew that I didn't deserve what was happening to me. But after enough time and enough harassment, you start wondering what did I do to deserve this, and what is wrong with me?
I went home and felt completely helpless. When you're in 7th grade, it's an eternity until you're going to graduate high school and be able to leave. And I was going to be stuck with these kids for all of that time. And there was no way that I could face going to school every day for the rest of my junior high and high school career. And I ended up going into my bathroom, taking a whole bunch of pills, and going to sleep, hoping that I would not wake up again because I did not want to go back to school.
After I took the pills, I actually really got kind of scared as I was lying in bed, and I realized I didn't want to die. And I thought maybe if I went and told my mom, maybe I'd get some help finally, and maybe the harassment would somehow stop.
Terrified, Jamie's mom rushed him to the hospital.
It was just hard for me to believe that a 12, 13, 14-year-old kid would try to commit suicide.
In the emergency room, doctors pumped Jamie's stomach. Later, he was admitted to a psychiatric unit.
I felt helpless. I couldn't do anything for him. I was trying. We were trying. We were calling the school. We were doing what we thought we should do as parents to deal with all these things, and nothing was happening, and he felt that frustrated that he tried to commit suicide. That was really hard.
Reluctantly, Jamie returned to Ashland Middle School in the 8th grade.
Me and my brother had gotten to school early, and we had to use the restroom.
Hey, look, it's the queers.
Hey, homos!
We ended up going in there, and there was a couple of boys in the bathroom already. They started calling us names and pushing us. One of them ended up pushing me really hard against the bathroom stall, and the other kid did the same thing to my brother. And they hit us a couple of times.
Jamie's mother immediately demanded a meeting with Principal Podlesny. Also present were several bullies and Mary Jane Grandy, mother of one of the bullies.
And Mrs. Podlesny said that boys will be boys, and that if Jamie was going to act so openly gay, he had to expect this stuff to happen to him. I know I was shocked that she would say something like that about, him, because I knew that what she was saying was wrong.
Too often, what we see is the response is that there's something about the target. Maybe you shouldn't be so openly gay, it was said to Jamie Nabuzny and thousands of others. And what could be the worst possible message in the world for someone attacked and harassed because of who they're perceived to be?
Not one of the bullies was punished.
I think if a school district or a school doesn't address harassment or bullying, it's giving a wink and a nod and sending the message that that behavior's okay. And any time that you send a signal that the behavior's okay, it will escalate.
That's exactly what happened later in the year.
Okay, listen, I'll be back in 5 minutes. You guys keep going on chapter 3.
Hey, pretty boy. Did you have fun last night with your boyfriend? You guys make out? Had a little make-out scene? Was it fun?
The two boys started harassing me, and they started touching my legs and telling me, you know, that you like it and stuff, and I kept pushing them away. And then eventually I tried to get away from them, and they pushed me to the ground. One of them got on top of me and were just continuing to touch me and being vulgar, I guess. I eventually got him off of me, and I was very upset, obviously. I ran to the principal's office.